I want to welcome everybody back to the round table. You know what I'm saying? It is yours truly, Crip. Welcome back to the Swang Glow podcast show to all my round table family out there in the free world today. I salute you all for taking the time out to come sit at this round table to hear another crazy prison story. You feel me? Now, I'm not going to hold y'all up too long. I just wanted to drop this meal on the table for us to eat real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then proceed on with our day. You feel me? Now, this situation occurred in Calipatria State Prison in the year 2003 on the C Yard, right? I've described to y'all the C Yard was extremely vicious in Calipatria State Prison at this time. You feel me? And you had a number of reputable dudes, on that yard at that time, man, that was pushing a cold hard line. You feel me? Now this situation involved the homie Outcast from West Covina DARKSIDE Gangsta Crip and Big Lala from 6 East Coast, right? Now, this is where it started at. You feel me? It transpired over into a whole big other thing, right? Which I'm gonna get into. Okay, now, like I said, this happened 2003 on the C Yard. Now, at that time, I'm already in the hole. Me and the homie Stutterbox from Angelo Mafia Crip was already in the hole doing our shoot time. I think we was probably in there at that time, probably around 5 or 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So, when the situation occurred with Big Lala from 6 East Coast and the homie Outcast from West Covina Darkside Gangsta Crip, this happened on the C Yard, right? So, bam. I guess the homie Outcast was out in the day room trying to get his phone call. You know what I mean? Back then, it was extremely difficult for you to be able to get time in because it's only 15-minute phone call slots per person, and you only get on that list one time. So, bam. I guess when it became time for the homie Outcast to get his phone call, Big Lala pushed up on him and told him, "Nah, you got to go in the cell," right? They had a program, you know what I'm saying? And I guess he felt like the homie was going against the program that they had established in their building, right? So he was trying to make the homie go in the cell and not get his phone call. So this ended up turning into a physical altercation between Outkast and Big Lala, right? They start fighting in the day room over this phone. So bam. That go down, but you also got a lot of young Crips from everywhere that's in that building that was out at that time when that fight started with Outkast and Big Lala. So what they tried to do, they grabbed the homie and tried to drag him inside the cell and you know what I'm saying? Do him in, right? He's fighting 6 dudes. Now remember, you had Crips from everywhere. These dudes that jumped on the homie Outcast had a lot of respect for Big Lala. Like I said, man, you had some very, very influential keyways on that yard at that time. It just so happened Lala happened to be like one of the top dudes. So when Outkast get in that physical altercation with Big Lala, the other young Crips came to Big Lala aid. You know what I'm saying? And tried to jump the homie. They tried to pull him in the cell. You know what I mean? From what I heard, weapons was out, which they didn't use. You know what I'm saying? It was actually somebody else there from East Coast that stopped that situation from becoming bigger than what it was. Although it was already bad because they had jumped on him. So bam. And remember, again, it was a number of different Crips involved in that from everywhere. You had Fortrays, you had Harlems, you had a little bit of everybody, right? Now, after that situation happened, the homie Boxer from Trey 57 is on that yard. He's on that yard when that go down. You know what I mean? Just so happened he wasn't out when that happened between Outkast and Big Lala and all the other keyways, right? He wasn't out. So bam. Boxer find out who was all involved. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, Boxer at this time wasn't pushing with the SGV core. The SGV core is the San Gabriel Valley Crips. That's all the Crips in the San Gabriel Valley, you know what I'm saying, that was pushing as one under one structure at that time. You know what I'm saying? But all, people from out there wasn't pushing with that car. Boxer was one of them because technically Boxer was from Orange County. He wasn't from Pomona. You know what I'm saying? But the Trey 5 Sevens have an extended part of their hood in Orange County. You know what I'm saying? So he was a representative of the Orange County Trey 5 Sevens. So I guess he felt since he was from Orange County, you know what I'm saying, he didn't really, you know, want to push with the SGV like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You have to ask him. So anyway, being that he wasn't pushing with the SGV, I don't know how the rest of them dudes there looked at him, but in his mind, from what he told me, you know what I'm saying, was like, man, I be with Outkast every day, although I don't push SGV. You know what I mean? I be with him every day. So it would look kind of crazy for me to be on this yard and they do that to him and I not respond to it. You know what I'm saying? So bam. Boxer like, look, what I'm gonna do, the biggest one out of all them that did something to the homie, that's the one I'm gonna get. Just so happened that person was Baby Snake from West Side Harlem, rolling 30's Crip, right? Baby Snake had a reputation of his own, stabbing people out their boots, putting in his work. He was a young rider. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. Can't take nothing away from you. Shout out to Baby Snake. Shout out to the Harlems. You know what I'm saying? But so that's who the homie targeted. So one day, they out on the yard and he waited. He waited to catch Baby Snake in an isolated spot. Really, technically, was going inside the building. Now, when you're going back inside the building, coming off the yard, you got to stop and let the CO search you. They frisk you down. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you ain't got no contraband or nothing that you're taking back into the building, right? So, bam, that's when Boxer chose to strike when he was getting searched. You know what I'm saying? So, as Baby Snake was getting searched and started making his way back into the building, that's when Boxer stabbed him right in his back. You know what I'm saying? So, Baby Snake, this is from what I heard. This is told to me by Baby Boxer from Trey 5 after everything transpired. But mind you, he ended up coming to the hole after that happened, and they put him right next door to me. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as he got in there, he wrote me a kite immediately, letting me know everything from A to Z on what transpired. So I'm giving you the version from him that was given to me, right? So bam. He stabbed Baby Snake. Baby Snake running the building, screaming, Boxer stabbed me, Boxer stabbed me, Boxer stabbed me, right? So anyway, the police snatched the homie Boxer up, take him to the hole, they get Snake, you know what I'm saying, take him to the infirmary, you know what I'm saying, get him patched up, stitched up and all that, you know what I mean? Then they bring him back there to the hole. So when he come back, we all in the same building. So when he come back there, we tripping because, when you get a stab wound, they got to treat that every day. So they got to come back there and treat his wound, change the bandages and all that on his injury, right? So they'll come back there doing that and we'll be sitting there tripping like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So bam. Now, it's a situation where, this stuff transpired with somebody it started with somebody that was, like I said, that was very influential at that time on that yard. You know what I'm saying? Everybody respected Big Lala, so did I. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to put your hands on somebody that isn't from where you're from, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that opens the floodgates for everything else to take place, in which it did. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think that they was expecting for the homie Boxer to strike the way that he did. And again, mind you, there was other people on that yard from the SGV. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to name them. It was probably like 2, maybe 3 other people that was on that yard. you know what I'm saying, that chose to stand down in that situation for whatever reason. But I'm not going to come on here and throw them under the bus and blast these dudes' name out because really, to each his own. If you decide to get in on something, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, you as a man chose to do that. But if you chose not, also, you as a man chose not to. You know what I'm saying? But technically in a situation where a line is crossed to where you got somebody putting their hands on one of your homeboys, you got to respond with violence because that's one thing that we don't do. We don't cross that line and put our hands on somebody else, you know what I'm saying, that's outside of our core. Really, you don't do that with nobody. But if you do that and you get into a confrontation with somebody from somewhere else, you got to expect the blowback because everybody is not going to be accepting of you putting your hands on their homeboy, especially if they lose. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen. So anyway, they ended up sending Baby Snake back to the main line. They transferred the homie Boxer out to a different prison. Well, he went and did his shoe. Then I ended up catching up to him in High Desert State Prison like a couple of years after that. You know what I'm saying? But while I was there, I stayed behind, went back to the main line, Baby Snake in my building, right? Now, like I told y'all, I take nothing away from him. Bro was a rider. He was a rider. I take absolutely nothing away from Baby Snake. And again, shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? But he in my building, man, and after that happened to him, he moved around like he had something to prove, like he had a real edge on his shoulder. And any given opportunity that he was able to go put some work in and stab somebody, bro did that. You know what I'm saying? And I seen it. I just trip like, okay, all right, yeah, this is what he on. Now me and him never had a discussion about this situation with Outkast and the homie Boxer. You know what I mean? But and really there was no reason to have a discussion with him about that situation because what was done was done. You know what I'm saying? And really that was left as an isolated incident because, like I just explained to y'all, once you cross the line on putting your hands on somebody, you got to expect the blowback. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not busters and everybody is not going to be accepting of that. You know what I'm saying? And, the homie Boxer wasn't accepting of it, period. But I can tell you this, after he put that work in on behalf of the homie Outkast, he started banging the SGV. Tough. Real tough. When I caught up to him in High Desert State Prison, that's what he was on. He went and got a tattoo, blasted all over him and all that. You know what I'm saying? And, he was on what he was on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I tell y'all that story because people find themselves getting into situations, man, all the time behind the walls. Dudes go into the system young. You know what I'm saying? Imagine being thrust out of the world. I mean, pulled out of the world and thrust into a concrete jungle. You know what I'm saying? Where you have dudes that, at that time, they didn't change the laws for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you had a lot of people that walked around that had no hope. You know what I'm saying? There was no tomorrow for a whole bunch of us. So a lot of the stuff that we was involving ourselves in came from the mind state of a person that didn't care because tomorrow wasn't promised to us anyway. They wasn't talking about giving us our freedom. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't budging on nothing. A life sentence meant a life sentence back then. You know what I'm saying? And just so happened like it was a dog eat dog world on that sea yard in Calipatria State Prison, man. It really was, you know what I'm saying? And if you wasn't a dog that was willing to eat another dog, then you was going to get ate. You know what I'm saying? And that's a promise. That's a promise. But there was a number of other Harlems on the yard, you know what I'm saying, with me that I knew, you know what I'm saying, that I dealt with, and when it came to that situation between Boxer, Outkast, Big Lala, and Baby Snake, you know what I'm saying, they looked at it as an isolated incident based on that line being crossed. You know what I'm saying? Was Big Lala in the wrong for trying to make the homie go in when he was trying to get his phone call? Or was the homie wrong because he knew the policies that they had at that time in regards to the phone situation? That's left up to debate, you know what I'm saying? I guess depending on which side you stand on. You know what I'm saying? But in no case are you allowed to put your hands on another man and it not be a blowback from it. That's not how it worked. You know what I'm saying? So it was a war that was diverted just based on, the people that was involved. You know what I'm saying? The people that had influence there, like myself, that I had, like I said, I had relationships with a number of Harlems there, as well as East Coasters. You know what I'm saying? But also, you got to remember, man, dudes, they have their own structure. You know what I'm saying? And um, if you're not of a common mind of structure, then you're gonna find yourself in a lot of different political situations that you don't want to be in. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. And you young dudes that's anxious to come to prison and be a part of that world. Hey, y'all got to take these stories that I'm telling y'all, man, at face value, because it's easy for you to get caught up and get your career ended. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the glamorizing of prison, because there's nothing glamorous about it at all. You know what I mean? But it is an awakening for those of y'all that need to be woke by us being able to deliver these stories to y'all with a lot of these influential people that y'all might see on YouTube. I heard Big Lala got out. Shout out to bro. Congratulations to him. You know what I'm saying? May he forever stay free. You know what I mean? Just like the number of other dudes, you know what I'm saying, that was locked up, had life sentences, you know what I'm saying, and that was fortunate and blessed to be able to go through that storm and make it to the other side and, you know, refresh and restore their life. Hopefully they be more productive, you know what I'm saying, in the things that they involve themselves in the free world. I pray that they do. You feel me? But yeah, man, I just wanted to bring that little situation to y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's a story that it could have ended bad. It could have sent us to war with, the Harlems and their allies. You know what I'm saying? It really could, because weapons was involved, injuries, all that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, fortunately we was able to divert that, you know what I'm saying, and stop that situation from growing bigger than what it was. You know what I'm saying? So salute to them, you know what I'm saying? And salute to my homies. You feel me? But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I just wanted to run that little story by y'all. Shout out to the homie Outcast. He's free, living his life, living a good life. You know what I'm saying? From what I hear, you know what I mean? He be tapped into the show, most definitely. You know what I mean? So shout out to you, Outcast. Much love to you, bro. You feel me? But on that note, I'm finna go ahead and close this thing on up. Let y'all get back to the rest of y'all day as I get back to mine. Love and appreciate you all for taking the time, man, to come sit at this round table for another crazy prison story. To the next time we meet here, I love y'all. Triple gang.